What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. All right, so before I get into this video, I want to give a big shout out to the brother Eric Levin for the donation to the channel via the Cash App. And he has a question. And his question is, who had more help, LeBron or Kobe? And I think the short answer to that would be LeBron having more help than Kobe. But I like to explain in this video how it wasn't always that way. Like, their careers didn't completely overlap one another. So there was a time, say, for instance, 2007, if this question was put out there, then I think the almost universal answer would have been Kobe. But LeBron is more than caught up and has surpassed Kobe in quote-unquote help. Now, remember, LeBron James had certain advantages over Kobe when he first came into the league back in 2003. LeBron James was really, to me, the first non-college player that received that level of hype and fanfare. As a matter of fact, I don't know if there's ever been an NBA player that was as hyped as LeBron James was when he first was drafted in 2003. Kobe was more under the radar. Kobe was a local Philly star in high school, but outside of the watchful eye of Jerry West and those who was privy to the Lakers' practices, we didn't know how good he was. He was a raw talent, but he was tremendously skilled. And Kobe had to go through the grind of going through a Lakers team that was very loaded. If I remember correctly, I think it's his second year. The 97-98 Lakers had 4 All-Stars. 4. And eventually, Kobe Bryant became a starter. But he was still in the shadow of Shaquille O'Neal. Okay? And Shaquille O'Neal was, in my opinion, the second most dominant player in the history of the NBA behind Wilt Chamberlain. I don't know why all of a sudden he has, leapfrog Wilt as the most dominant. I mean, whatever. I mean, damn, people won't give Wilt the GOAT anymore. I'm like, at least give him the most dominant. Nope, you don't want to give him that. I mean, I don't want to go on with my Wilt rants. Let me stay on subject. So, Kobe was in the shadow of Shaq for so many years. And even during the three-peat, when Kobe began to assert himself more, especially from 2000, 2001 onward, he clearly became a co-star. But, Kobe wanted to show and prove that he did not have to have Shaq to win. Okay? So you could call it scheming or plotting, whatever the case may be. By 2004, the Lakers organization had to make a choice, whether it's going to be Shaq or whether it's going to be Kobe, and they chose Kobe. They went with a younger player who had more of a future. Now, the first 7 years of LeBron's career, he was not playing on what I would call loaded teams, okay? But, man, you saw the talent. You saw what he could do with just a respectable roster around him. Now, this is the thing that always aggravates me. What aggravates me is how, in hindsight, people like to say, well, he played with a bunch of bums, which is very, very disrespectful of the teams that he had. Very disrespectful. At the end of the day, those Cavaliers teams, in my opinion, didn't lose because they didn't have enough talent around them. Those teams often lost because the opposing team was able to key in on some of LeBron's deficiencies. LeBron could put up amazing numbers for 46 or 48 minutes of the game. LeBron's lack of shot making or inability to consistently knock down key shots down the stretch in games often hurt him. He was not that bucket getter that teams needed in certain crunch time situations. That often hurt the Cavaliers. Okay. And that's why he didn't really have success. If you look at the progression of his career, until he had that type of guy that can get you buckets. Now, you look at the Lakers now, Luka Doncic. He's that guy that we know can knock down key shots and doesn't have any fear of being in those situations. But getting back to the point, Kobe purposely traded away or helped the organization or put pressure on the organization to trade away the most dominant center in the league. And for many years, he didn't have much talent around him. And they struggled. He put up amazing numbers, but the team struggled. Now they got Pau Gasol, who is a really good player. He's a Hall of Famer, but he's not a top 75 all-time player. And he won back-to-back titles with them. Now, he did also play with Ron Artest. He did also play with what's his name? Andrew Bynum. Although Bynum never lived up to his expectations. He did play with Glenn Rice. Now, he did play with Steve Nash. Although by the time Steve Nash came to Lakers, he was a shell of himself. He played with Dwight Howard, but by the time Dwight Howard came to LA, he was starting to regress as a player. And that's about it. He did play with a 40-year-old Karl Malone and a past his prior Gary Payton. And the league rescinded a trade that would have sent Chris Paul to the Lakers. They rescinded the trade. Now, LeBron James, since 2010, conspired with Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, to form a super team, the Heatles, in Miami. They won 2 consecutive championships, went to 4 consecutive NBA finals. Then he goes to Cleveland, teams up with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, won a championship in 2016. Then he goes to LA, teams up with Anthony Davis, who at the time was the most dominant big man in the league, wins the bubble title. Anthony Davis, let's just say, controversially, is traded in early February to the Mavericks for Luka Doncic. The same Luka that averaged, 34, 8, and 8 last year? A guy that single-handedly, well, I can't say single-handedly because Kyrie Irving was there, but a guy that led his team to an NBA Finals just last year gets traded to the LA Lakers. At this point in time, I would say that over the past 15 years or so, LeBron has had consistent super help. Like, you can make an argument that his quote-unquote help has been the most dominant in the league at that time since 2010. And another thing that irritates me, and I think irritates a lot of people, is that the media will always try to spin it as if somehow a team that he's on, when they acquire one of these great players, sometimes LeBron gets the help. He gets the credit as if he's the only one there. And I didn't believe that they would do this with Luka Doncic, but they're doing it. They're shameless. These people are shameless. I 100% agree with Charles Barkley. It's pathetic. But that's what happens when you have buck dancers all on social media. Excuse me, not social media. Well, they are some on social media, but when you have buck dancers on TV who do whatever their bosses tell them to do, because they're shameless. Now, this guy's playing with Luka Doncic now. A guy that, for the past 3 years at least, has been in the MVP conversation. A guy that talked about how easy it was to score in the NBA. You're teamed up with him, and you're getting the credit for the Lakers' wins. It's shameless on his part, man. It's shameless. But yeah, in a nutshell, LeBron has had more consistent help throughout his career than Kobe Bryant. Kobe wanted to trade away dominant players and prove that he could win as the lead guy. LeBron wants to have people pretend like he's the lead guy, when in reality, he's had more help than anybody in the history of the NBA outside of, I'd say, probably Shaq and maybe Bill Russell. But yeah, that's how I look at it anyway. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what you guys think.